Let every voice that sings, let every voice that sings. Good evening, America. Hello, Chicago. And what's up, West Side? This is P. Ray of Black Excellence Hour, a show for people with high self-esteem. You could have been doing anything on this beautiful, sunny Sunday evening, and you chose to come hang out with me today at Black Excellence Hour. And as always, I truly, truly, truly appreciate the company. If you are watching live on the Black Excellence Hours Facebook page or the Intellectual Radio YouTube page, be sure to share the live. Today in studio. I have community activist, Republican knowledge keeper extraordinaire, Mr. Patrick Gibbons, on the show today. Initially, I brought him on to talk about the Republican Party, but today we are going to actually discuss the murder of Octavia Redmond because he is a post office carrier as well. And we are going to talk about the implications of that and how this affects everybody, because I know that the post carriers in the where are they, Roseland area, actually went on a mini strike, and they said that they were not going to deliver mail because they don't feel safe. So if we have people out here that are murdering the post carriers and making them feel unsafe, this has an immeasurable impact on everybody, especially not only for our family, but in the political season where people are pushing people to mail in their ballots. If the post office carriers are not safe, the post boxes are not safe, that means that everything is now compromised. But before we get to that, like we do with every single show, you guys already know how this goes. This past week, I had a ball, y'all. I went to the RNC in Milwaukee, and they treated the kid like a queen. Oh my Lord Jesus. I mean, everybody was like, oh my God, you're P-Ray. I see your videos. I've seen you on Fox. We love what you doing in Chicago. And I'm like, what? Y'all see us for real? And they're like, yes, the entire country sees exactly what you all are doing in Chicago. You guys make us very, very proud. But before I get to all of that, we're going to start with a dose of self-esteem from the greatest president to ever do it. That is Mr. Donald J. Trump. Nobody says Donald John but me, I guess. But I call him Donald John Trump. He calls himself Donald J. Trump. He is the 45th president, soon to be president number 47, 45, 47. If you've ever seen I Got the Hookup, that is a Master P classic. That man, again, is Donald John Trump Sr. Let's get this tape going. And let's see. It's coming. Roll that tape.
Built this nation. You built this nation. You know, you're just starting to get real credit for that. Okay, I don't know if you know that. You're just starting to get, you built the nation. We all built it. But you were such a massive part of it. Bigger than you were given credit for. Does that make sense? Right? But through generations of blood, sweat, and tears, and you deserve a government that defends your interests, protects your families, and cares for our own citizens first. My administration is fighting with everyone and all our heart to reverse the pain inflicted by Democrat leaders and to deliver hope and opportunity and prosperity for all Americans, but for African-American communities all throughout our land. And our agenda is lifting up citizens of every background, race, religion, color, and creed. But while we are fighting every day to build up our nation, the far left only wants to wreck, ruin, and destroy our nation.
All right, all right, all right. Again, that was Donald J. Trump Sr., soon to be our 45th president, 47th president, because he's already been president number 45. So let's get to the show really, really quickly. First things first, they tried to kill my president last week. What in the world is going on? So there was this guy from Pennsylvania. I did my research on him. He's a Jewish guy who is in his early 20s. They like to lie and say that he's a Republican, but he is not a Republican. He's actually one of those super duper progressive weirdos that we see in the street yelling and screaming. And this guy in particular, they have pictures of him dressed as a transgender as well. So he is like all the way lost in the sauce, one of those progressive people. He decided that he was going to climb onto a roof, lay on his stomach, and try to shoot our president in the head. Well, just luckily, praise God, because of the Lord Jesus, our God, President Trump turned his head to the side to look at a chart, and the bullet clipped his ear and it just hit him in the ear. But then two people behind him got shot, and one guy actually died. So this man actually came to the Trump rally, climbed on top with his or climbed on top of a building with his rifle. They said that a police officer climbed and saw him, and then the guy pointed the rifle at the police officer, and the police officer climbed down the ladder, I guess, to get more help. And then at that point, the gentleman took the shot. They also did some research on this guy because apparently he tried to be on his shooting team at his school and high school, and he was a terrible shooter, and they kicked him off the team. So his teammates say they don't even know why he tried to do this. But I want to let everyone know that it was a progressive Democrat that tried to shoot Donald Trump. This man was not a registered Republican, because when there's the time period when they're trying to say that he is a registered Republican, he was only 17 years old. So no, he never was. So he got shot, he got murdered as well, or what they call it, eliminated the threat. So may God send him a cool breeze in hell every now and then, because aha, you lost. I also want to let the people know and understand that the Democrats have always used political violence to get to their means. This is the same political party that declared war on the United States of America in the Civil War to advance their slavery cause. It's the same party that utilized the Ku Klux Klan to disenfranchise the freedmen voters out of the out of the Republican Party, and that's because they did not want them voting. So their political means at that point was to get black people out of the voter base so that they could control the policy. Then it took an act of Congress to make them stop. Then fast forward, even now we have these Antifa weirdos like the guy who just shot the president, and they're also using violence to advance and further their cause. So just know that this is what the Democrats do. If anything happens to P. Ray, because baby, we winning, they did it. They did it. I did not commit suicide. I don't do drugs. And I definitely don't have any enemies that I believe want to kill me. Now, there might be some people who want to pop me on the lips, but they definitely do not want to kill me. So if it happens, just know that this again is what the Democrats do. Moving on. As I stated before, we went to the RNC. I went as an alternate delegate from the 7th Congressional District for Donald Trump. I ran for that position, and I actually earned 3,065 votes in our district, which is a huge number of votes to get in a primary election. I went down there. As you can see, I have on my medal here that shows that I was an alternate delegate. It says RNC Milwaukee 2024, and then it says alternate. So I actually was there. I had a ball. I did a lot of press while I was there because people were very surprised to see a black woman in the MAGA hat and this shirt that I have on, which has Donald Trump on it with Illinois on it, and it has Illinois in the sleeves. It says MAGA on the back with a shape of the state of Illinois with the Illinois flag in it. So everyone's like, oh my God, you are dressed so well. Who put you together? I'm like, I'm from Chicago. Chicago people definitely are going to dress up when we come out. So I got to be on Reuters. I got to be on the Washington Post. They took my portrait as well as interviewed me and asked me about Jim Crow Joe, which we'll get to in a moment. I did a lot of international press. They now know that Chicago Red is on the map. But I didn't want to make this the P-Ray show. So on the third day, I brought some members of Chicago Red with me, 6 members of Chicago Red. I told them today, guys, you guys get to do all the media. So I have 6 people now who are showing up with these MAGA fedoras on, and everybody wanted to know exactly who we were. So they did a lot of media. I took George Blakemore down there. George was George. He was the belle of the ball. Shout out to my executive director, Osiris. Shout out to my vice president, Jonathan. Shout out to Miss Marjorie. Shout out to Miss Blakemore. Shout out to King Israel, who was down there with us as well. And shout out to Kimberly. We went down there and we had a very good time. Again, we got some different diverse voices about Chicago, and now everybody knows who we are. I was very shocked to know that people were really watching us, but they are really watching us. I also got to do Fox News twice on Tuesday, once Fox Business, then the Laura Ingraham report. Laura Ingraham kind of just fell into my lap because I was in a bar and they were going to do a live shot for her show. And initially, the producers were not going to include me, or the host was not going to include me. But the cameraman was like, P-Ray. And I'm like, Mr. Cameraman, hey. And then the producer's like, oh my God, you're P-Ray. I talk to you all the time. And she gives me a hug. And then she tells the host, make sure you get her in the shot. So they asked me about the president and the assassination and what I thought about it. I said, this is why they call him the Teflon Don, because nothing sticks. And this was an act of God because he is blessed and highly favored. So shout out to my president for getting out of that jam. Shout out to the RNC. Shout out to Laura Trump. Shout out to Michael Waitley for being gracious hosts. Shout out to Deontay Johnson of the Black Conservative Federation. Shout out to the Trump campaign. Shout out to all of the great people that I met from all over the country. And again, the MAGA movement is marching. Moving on. Let's get to my Donnie. So I told you guys about how he beat the bullet. This week, not only did he take a bullet, but he kept working. Okay. You don't become a billionaire by laying on your back. Okay. So he got up and he went to work. This week, he went to a rally, actually today, and he talked about how he's going to stop the war between Ukraine and Russia. A lot of times people say, oh, P-Ray, you guys just like him because he's your Donnie. No, he's actually trying to achieve world peace. Let's listen to what he had to say. Roll tape.
Before I even arrive at the Oval Office, shortly after we win the presidency, we win. We're going to all win it together. I will have the horrible war between Russia and Ukraine settled. And I will be the only one that can make this statement. I will prevent World War III from happening. You're very close to World War III.
Okay, so we heard him say that we are very close to World War III. Again, he is not just a candidate, he is a former presidential candidate. So this is very, very serious, and we need to get Trump in office. If you have not been watching the wars right now, the world is starting to polarize. We got BRICS on one side, NATO on the other. The Russians are not playing, neither are the Iranians, neither are the Yemenis, neither are the Syrians, neither are the Lebanese. They are all locked in and loaded, and they are ready to shoot. And because people know that my Donnie is going to win, there also has been this a lie about Project 2025 going around. People are like, oh my God, you got to read Project 2025. It's horrible. It's the end of the world. First off, none of those people read it, okay? Project 2025 is 900 pages. Those people did not read it. Number 2, it came from the Heritage Foundation, which is a civic group that has been given policy recommendations to the government for almost 50 years. They gave us NAFTA and they gave us Obamacare. Nobody had a problem with the Heritage Foundation then. But then they put out this report, and now people are like, oh my God, it's the end of the world. It's like if me and Patrick went and we created an organization called the PATS. And then the PATS, we create this policy recommendation. And then because I am a Trump surrogate, people say, oh, Trump had something to do with what the PATS wrote because P. Ray is involved. No, it does not work that way. Do not be stupid. Stupid people are worried about Project 2025 right now. Trump's agenda is actually called Agenda 47. Again, if you want to know what Trump is going to do, that's called Agenda 47. So I'm going to catch you up on Agenda 47 really quickly, really briefly, so that you're not out here loud and dumb like the rest of these stupid people. Oh, Project 2025. I'm like, I've never seen such ignorance in my life. It infuriates me because these are literate people saying this. So I'm going to help you guys out. This is Agenda 47. Rebuild the greatest economy in history. Fair trade for the American worker. Unleash energy dominance. Secure borders and reclaim national sovereignty. War on the drug cartels. Stop crime and restore safety. Renew American strength and leadership. Reject globalism and embrace patriotism. Care for our veterans. Protect parents' rights. Defend law and liberty. End censorship and reclaim free speech. Free, honest, and lawful elections. Drain the swamp of Washington corruption and better healthcare choices at lower cost. That, friends, is Agenda 47. That is not Project 2025. And don't take my word for it. Listen to my Donnie tell you exactly what Project 2025 means.
And you know, the other side's going around trying to make me sound extreme, like I'm an extremist. I'm not. I'm a person with great common sense. I'm not an extremist at all. Like some on the right, severe right, came up with this Project 25, and I don't even know. I mean, some of them I know who they are, but they're very, very conservative, just like you have. They're sort of the opposite of the radical left, okay? You have the radical left and you have the radical right, and they come up with this, I don't know what the hell it is, it's Project 25. He's involved in Project, and then they read some of the things and they are extreme. I mean, they're seriously extreme. But I don't know anything about it. I don't want to know anything about it. But what they do is misinformation and disinformation.
All right. He said he doesn't know about it. He knows some people involved, but that is not his business. That's it. Get over it. Again, if you hear somebody talking about Project 2025, it's because they want to trick you because they believe that you're an idiot. And if you repeat it, then you are the idiot that they want you to be. Please get rid of that conversation. Project 47 is where you need to be focused, because today, friends, Jim Crow Joe drops out the race. Oh, Chicago Red chased Jim Crow Joe off the stage. I told y'all that he was struggling after I told America that his name was Jim Crow Joe, and we were not voting for him under any circumstances in the city of Chicago. He tried to get black voices for Trump, or black voters for Biden. And then he tried to close the border, but it was all too late. And now they believe that if they switch out Jim Crow Joe, Kamala will be a better choice. However, this is the kicker. Barack Obama did not endorse Kamala. He did not. Everybody else came out today and said we're going to endorse her, but Barack Obama called for an open primary. Listen to this.
Last night, the message from President Biden and those around him was, quote, all systems go and campaign full speed ahead. Then at around 1:45 p.m., he notified senior team members that he had changed his mind. Let's get to what might have changed his mind, Brett, but also this statement from Barack and Michelle Obama, which does not endorse Kamala Harris. Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton have come out to endorse her. President Biden endorsed her. But here's what the Obamas say. We will be navigating uncharted waters in the days ahead, but I have extraordinary confidence that the leaders of our party will be able to create a process from which an outstanding nominee emerges. Ouch. Yeah.
So
Tonight,
Obama does not want Kamala. So all of the Obama heads out here, everybody that got him in the frame picture sitting up there next to Jesus and Harold Washington, know that your leader has not endorsed Kamala, because I honestly think that they're gonna push for JB Pritzker. JB helped Barack Obama get rid of the old guard of of Democrats here. After Barack Obama got in, they got rid of Blagojevich, they got rid of Jesse Jackson Jr., they dismantled that whole Southside Democratic process, and now they're about to try to make themselves president. I say leave all those crazy people alone and just come on over here to MAGA, make America great again. Because if you are an American, you should want to make America great again. I don't understand how or why that could be offensive to anybody, especially when we are serious about making sure that our country remains great. With all that being said, that is all of the updates of the news updates. I am going to now reintroduce my guest here, Mr. Patrick Gibbons, who is not speaking as an official member of the Post Service, but as someone who can give us information on what happened and how these types of things impact people. Welcome to Black Excellence Hour.
Thank you, P. Ray, for having me. This is awesome. Awesome opportunity. I work for the United States Postal Service for 4 years now. And I know a lot of the mail handlers. I'm a mail handler by trade. I know a lot of the mail carriers. We're a big family. The Postal Service, we're a big family. We love our job, the majority of us. And when we go out there, we're doing a service to the public. Since 2020, there has been no postal police. The upper echelons of the United States Postal Service cut out postal police when they would go on the mail carriers' routes as protection. Now,
I never knew there were postal police.
Yes, ma'am. They would follow the mail carriers with their respective routes. It was a very good security system. That's why you never hear mail carriers getting robbed. Now, ever since then, robberies have went through the roof because obviously criminals, they're not all stupid. They hear what's going on, and we are now targets. We are sitting ducks, so to speak. So since we're federal workers, I had an exclusive with WGN, Andrea Medina, and I said, maybe we should have concealed carry, have the option of concealed carry. We are federal workers, and we have every right to defend ourselves. That's our Second Amendment. But I don't know what's going on. I guess the upper echelon of the United States Postal Service don't care, because if they did care, they would do something about it. And it's getting to the point where mail carriers should absolutely strike in order to get a safety plan. The mayor of Chicago, as you know, he doesn't have a safety plan either, not just for mail carriers, but for the people of Chicago.
Correct.
Crime is through the roof. It's ridiculous. This young lady, she was only 48 years old. Her name is Octavia Redmond. Octavia Redmond, she was a mother. She was a great postal worker. She worked for the Postal Service for 15 years.
She's a wife as well. Her husband worked at the same post office.
Yes, ma'am. And we all loved her. And it's unfortunate what happened. She was shot multiple times in the chest, and the killer or killers are still on the loose.
Wow.
Yes, ma'am. And just the other day, they found a car that was torched, and that's what local gang members do. I'm thinking it was a gang-related shooting. They torched the car where there was no evidence. And I used to work for Hertz Lot as a security officer, and I can't tell you how many cars I would see torched or shot with bullet holes or whatever. And the people at the Hertz Lot with these cars that were torched, they said, oh, gang members do that all the time. We get these all the time. So that's why I know from experience seeing torched cars. And I was like, wow, this was gang related. It sounds a random shooting. It sounds gang related. Some people say, oh, maybe it was a lover or something like that. It was not a lover. She was married. They were a very happy couple. So this scumbag that killed her needs to be caught. I'm offering a $20,000 reward separate from the United States Postal Service. They're offering a $250,000 reward for information leading to the arrest and conviction of whoever was involved with the killing.
Wow.
And you just talked about Ardani. Donald Trump.
Mhm.
I was at the rally yesterday in Grand Rapids,
I saw
Michigan.
He put you on this True Social
Yes,
page.
he did.
He's posting all the Chicago people.
Yes, he is.
Yes.
And what we need to do is we need to have a a wave, a red beautiful wave, because Republicans, we believe in safety, we believe in justice, we believe that criminals should go to jail. Democrats believe that there should be a revolving door. A revolving door where you have 2, 3, 4, 5 felonies and just a slap on the wrist. I mean, we gotta do something. The Democratic Party, the old party, years ago, they were for the blue collar worker. That's all said. That's nice. Okay, I get that. You have a legitimate argument with that with a few years ago that they were maybe a strong party, but it's not the same party anymore. It's not the same party. They don't care about the little person. Small businesses are suffering left and right. There's killings, murders in the streets of Chicago. Small businesses are being robbed left and right, and there is absolutely no safety plan. At the rally in Grand Rapids, Michigan, Mr. Trump said, "Let's make America safe again." Well, it was one of the things he said. Let's make America safe again, because the violence is running rapid, and especially when you have all these illegals coming into the country too. He said at the rally that they're emptying the jails in Venezuela. They're emptying the jails. That's why Venezuela has such a low crime rate, because they're all coming to America.
And Venezuela fell in 10 years after oh, I used to like this man. His name is on the tip of my tongue. What's the last president? Not the one, the dictator that they had. His name was Hugo Chavez. After 10 years after Hugo Chavez's death, the country fell
Mhm.
because they were used to being taken care of through the oil revenue. So they don't know how to work. They don't have that capitalist mentality about themselves. And
Right.
because people were used to being taken care of and then they weren't, the country fell. And now they're here expecting the same things. This is why they're so entitled, and they're like, this is not good enough. The food isn't good enough. The housing isn't good enough. That's because they were used to a high quality of living under Chavez. And they thought that we were living the same way in America, and we aren't.
Mm-hmm. That's right. And Donald Trump jokingly said at the rally that maybe we should have the National Convention of the RNC at Venezuela because the crime is so low. It's getting to the point where something has to be done. We knew for years that Joe Biden wasn't mentally sound. Now we've seen the proof today that he's not mentally sound because he stepped down. I really think Jill Biden should be ashamed of herself. I really think she pushed him to run for president the first time around when he was not mentally sound. And what you've seen before your eyes, ladies and gentlemen, was elderly abuse. Classic
Yes.
elderly abuse. He was not the same Joe Biden as we knew 10, 15 years ago, where he was facetious. He said what's on his mind. No one liked him, but he was sharp. He's not the same Joe Biden. Everybody can see that. Even the left can see that. And now the truth came out today.
Yeah, so they're now kind of imploding on themselves.
Yes, and it's beautiful.
Because of Kamala. A lot of people did not want Joe Biden to drop out because they said that the primary voters had already voted, which is why they, didn't push him out, but rather let him leave. And now they're going to have this open primary. So, I mean, do we wait for Kamala to pick a VP? Does she get to pick a VP? And if he is mentally compromised that he can't run for re-election, is he mentally competent to continue to be the president?
Well, you're right. You hit the nail right on the head. For him to make a total endorsement, what he needs to do is step down, obviously, so Kamala Harris can be the acting president and people can see she can actually lead. Just words don't mean anything. People need to see if she actually can do something.
Well, she was in charge of the border. She was the border czar. Did she do a good job with that?
Horrendous.
Okay, so she couldn't do that one responsibility that she had. Why would we trust her with the entire world?
Exactly. Well, I'm just thinking out loud. If I was a Democrat, I wouldn't want Kamala, trust me, to run this country. This country would really go to hell if she was the president. That's for sure. And what you said about J.B. Pritzker, probably being one of the candidates that would run for president for Democratic Party, that's very possible. But look at it this way: this is supposed to be the party of inclusion. A guy bumping a woman that says that she's African American, woman. I mean,
Well, she's not African American.
Well,
Like, hold on. Let's put a
supposedly.
pause. I want everybody to know that she is an Indian Jamaican American. That does not make her a black woman. That does not make her a Negro. She was actually raised in Canada.
Mm.
She was an international student when she came back. She came from Canada to Howard.
Mm.
So, no, she is not the same. Do not allow yourselves to be tricked twice with Negro adjacent people. She does not have anything to do with us, and her exposure to Negro culture is through academia and upper middle class situations. So she does not know anything about poor people. She does not know anything about middle class people. That has never been her reality. Do not allow them to make her a black woman in this race. This has nothing to do with black people. Obviously, the Democratic Party does not respect Negroes because they have never nominated a Negro to be president or vice president, but they have nominated two foreigners.
Mm-hmm.
Two foreigners. So keep that in mind as she tries to cash in her black card. Give us a call, 773-345-9977, 773-345-9977. Let's take a call. Welcome to Black Excellence Hour.
Hi, P. Ray. This is Dennis. Let's go. Well, I would say let's go, Brandon. So I'm going to say let's go, Brenda.
Let's go, Brenda.
Let's go, Brenda.
Hey, Dennis, how you doing?
I'm doing excellent. How about yourself and your guest?
We're doing well, thank you.
Hi, Dennis.
Good. Hi. It's amazing that they just put Joe Biden under the bus right there, and they know it. So now I was on social media. Everybody now is with Harris. Everybody's still with Harris. The reality now, that's in a perfect world they live in. But the reality is Trump's still going to get the White House.
That's right.
Only thing we need to do is take control of the House and get the Senate back. And then we will really make America great. We're not going to make America great for the socialism warriors, but we're going to make America great for all of us. And as far as the death of the postal worker, I've been stressing this out for the longest, and P. Ray, you've been knowing this too. You've been knowing me for the longest, how much I am for the Second Amendment and stuff.
You even took me to you even took me to the range.
Yes. And not bad too.
Thank you.
And thank you're welcome. And the thing about it is that with the postal worker, FedEx, UPS, Lyft, DoorDash, Uber Eats, and Uber, they don't want you to carry firearms because they look at the employees, as the drivers and the letter carriers, as being expendable. Because what happened to that lady was tragic. If that woman would have carried a firearm and been concealing everything and shot them criminals, I guarantee you she would have lost her job. So no matter how much money that the post office is offering, it will never bring that person back. And especially we don't know where the criminals are at large is at. And that's why I want to say this, that we need really, really, really need, and P. I hope you express and endorse it, that it's how important that we have to carry the Second Amendment. Because the reality is this: Brandon Johnson is not going to he's not going to be tough on crime. Hopefully, the other gentleman who's running for the state attorney here for Cook County, he will get that job, and maybe, yes, hopefully he'll win that election and stuff. J.B. Pritzker is not going never going to support the Second Amendment because he already banned the so-called assault weapon, and they banned the magazine and stuff. So he really wants us to become victims every day on the majority of the Democratic Party. Because if that's the case, he would have left everything alone and either make Illinois a constitutional state. But J.B. Pritzker is in the pockets of Moms Demand Action because they the one who funded this type of chaos and stuff. And And people don't understand how important for us to carry guns, especially in the south and west side and stuff. Because when we was over there on Madison and Central,
Yes.
it was a group of us that wanted to come with us. They didn't know that you was armed, I was armed, and Vashon was
Oh, wait.
armed.
Let's put a pause there because we didn't come on last week. I just did a live video. So for those who didn't catch my live, we did a MAGA rally on Central in Madison last Sunday. And oh my God, was a time had. If you don't know where Central and Madison is, this is the middle of the Austin community. And we were out there and we got a lot of love. But then I believe, I can't prove this, that the Democratic Party sent their goons and the goons got what they were coming for. They got exactly what they were looking for. And then they ran away and we continued to wave our flags. Go ahead, Dennis.
Now, the thing about it is that if we would have pulled our weapons out on them because we feel like we've been threatened, they would have ran. So it was, that right there was staged right offhand by them, by the people who were trying to disrupt our peaceful rally right offhand.
Correct.
So it's important that we have to really, really bear arms no matter what. And so, and especially women, because women really do need to learn how to shoot a gun and understand gun safety more than anything else.
Well, thank you. Tell people how they can join the FAFO Gun Club before we let you go.
You can go on my, you can email me at chef28 _2a at yahoo.com. Puree could post my phone number there. And if you go on Facebook, you can go on FAFO Gun Club Chicago. And you can go on Instagram at FAFO Chicago Gun Club as well. If anybody interested, just say, hey, I'm interested. How do I get a FOID card? And what do I need to do to get a concealed carry? And I would fill you in all the information.
Thank you, Dennis.
Thank you.
773-345-9977. 773-345-9977. Today in studio, I have Mr. Patrick Gibbons, who is a post carrier, correct?
I'm a mail handler.
Mail handler.
By trade.
And I'm sorry.
By trade.
By trade, a mail handler, as well as a very active member of the Republican Party scene here in the city of Chicago. And I wanted to have him come on today to give us a perspective about what happened with the postal carriers. I'm looking at the comments as we are talking. And someone brought up Kiara Coles, because Kiara Coles is the post carrier who went missing on October 2nd, 2019, I believe. I know October 2nd is my birthday, so I always remember that she went missing on my birthday, but she has never been found either.
Yes, ma'am.
So we have two examples, and she actually went missing in her uniform. So we have two women wearing their postal uniforms who could possibly be hurt, or one who got murdered and one who has not been found. So again, we want to make sure that we take their health and safety and security very, very seriously. But before we get to that, I wanted to speak a little bit more about the rally and what happened. So I'm going to give you guys the bad, and then I'm going to give you the good. The bad is that the Democrats tried to make us victims of political violence on the west side of Chicago. When I got there were members from the community, specifically Uncle Remus Saucy Fried Chicken, the owner, the cashier, and the people who work in that restaurant were down there aggressing us. So I'm thinking to myself, why are y'all down here on a Sunday afternoon when you got all of this chicken to fry? This does not make any sense. So the cashier gets in my face. I'm talking about like face to face, in my face, and she's talking all this Trump trash. And I'm like, what? So then this guy comes and he's like cursing me out. And y'all know, P-Ray, I said after this week, I will stop cussing people out in public. But last Sunday, oh baby, he got what he was coming for. So then she pulls me to the side and she's like, why are you out here? I said, because this is my neighborhood. She's like, well, you knew that this would bring smoke. I said, actually, you guys are the only ones bringing the smoke. You crossed the street. No, you locked your restaurant. crossed the street and brought all these people down here to aggress us. Why? Well, the community doesn't want this. I am the community. I literally live here. I've been here my whole life. Chicago Red meets here every week in the community. People want it. Don't you see the people blowing their horns and waving and asking for flags and trying to get hats? What are you guys doing here? Well, so wait, let's put a pause there. So one of the people that she brought to aggress us was being very, 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 very aggressive. And so one of my team members pulled out his gun and he racked it and he told him, "Get back. We are not playing with you." So at this point, a lot of Chicago police department people converged on him. They took him in the police car. They ended up letting him go like 4 hours later because they said they watched the tapes and this was a clear case of self-defense, which means that those people could have really gotten hurt. Take the pause out the story. So then she's like, "Your people were down here with guns." I said, "Oh, yes, they were. I got hollow points in my purse too." And she's like, "Well, why are you carrying guns?" I said, "Because this is America. I have a Second Amendment right to do so." "Well, this is in Florida. You shouldn't carry guns." I said, "Oh, no, absolutely. I carry a gun everywhere I go, and I take it very seriously." She says, "Well, why are you carrying a gun?" I said, "Because I took the 16-hour class and I have the right to do that." So as all of this is going on, we know that that area is an area that is controlled by street organizations. And before we got out there, I actually went to talk to the gentlemen in the street organizations that stand out there. And I asked them, "Would you guys be okay if we did a rally right here?" They said, "You going to bring Trump right here?" I said, "No, I'm not going to bring Trump right here, but we're going to do the flags. We're going to support him." They said, "Hell yeah, we F with that white man. Yes, do it here. We cannot wait for you guys to get here. This is going to be so amazing. I can't believe you're doing a Trump rally in our neighborhood." Yes. So these guys, as the people who were coming down the street to aggress us, these guys came down the street in a big old crowd, maybe 5 or 6 of them. So they come down the street, they're all buff and brolic. So they're walking down the street, shoulders all buff. And then they take the flags from us and they said, "We're going to be the red wall. Now tell us we can't be out here. Tell us we don't belong out here. Tell us that this is not our neighborhood. We support Trump. F Joe Biden. Joe Biden is a lame. We don't want to support Biden. And anybody who has a problem with it, come take the flags out of our hands." Wow. So those people fled. Then we got another group of people who came, and the woman is like, this big old slouchy woman with her phone, and she's like, "Yeah, we out here, and I want to know who told them to come out here, because I want to know that the guys out here, they didn't tell them they could come." Blah, blah, blah. I walked up to her. I said, "Sweetheart, do you know that I actually have some of the leadership out here? Come on, let me introduce you to your leaders." So I walk her over here to these men who are actually in charge of all of this, who were actually there doing reconnaissance for us. And they told her, "Sweetheart, who told you you can come out here and speak on behalf of our organization? Don't you see this on my arm? I didn't tell you that you can come speak on my behalf. Be quiet, young woman." And that woman went on home. So with all of that being said, everything that they threw at us did not stick, even though Brandon is still throwing tickets on my car. That's okay, Brandon, because I'm parking in my garage from now on. And now I'm definitely not going to stop. The people were driving by, they were happy. People on the street were happy. People were driving past looking at us, they were happy. People want us to do it again. They want to join Chicago Red. We had people from the suburbs. We had people from the South Side. We had people from as far as Joliet, Illinois, who said, "I heard that you guys were doing a Trump rally in the city," and boom, I came to show up. So this MAGA movement in the city is not going to stop. Trying to punk people will not stop. And I'm saying this very publicly, Mayor Brandon Johnson, you need to denounce the political violence that is happening in your city, and you need to stop encouraging it. And the reason that I say that is because there was a motorcade that went past us that had a dark SUV with like 6 police cars, and it sped past us really quickly. And I was thinking, who is this in the motorcade? Oh, this is Brandon. This is Brandon. And so once the motorcade went past, then the police had a call that called them all away. They all left. And then this is when this brigade of goons and harassers showed up. Leave me alone, Brandon. Leave me alone, Mayor Johnson. I'm making this very public. leave us alone. We have the right to campaign for any presidential candidate that we want to. Our people fought and died in this country. We got people deep down in this soil that gave us the right to campaign when, where, and how we want to for any presidential candidate that we want to have. So please, 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 please stop it and leave us alone. Leave us alone. I also want to say to the Austin African American Business Network, I want you to ask your membership to leave us alone. Because if an Arab store decided to close their corner store and bring all of their staff out to harass us about the Palestinian issue, Black Chicago would have an issue, right? They would say, how dare you guys come out and harass these people executing their First Amendment right to assemble? So we're not going to have it from African American businesses either. Leave us alone. We are very serious about our movement. We are going to get our president back in office. I don't understand what's offensive about this to people. I'm not in front of your door. I'm not stopping your business. When you guys were pushing that Brandon Johnson socialism on the west side of Chicago, I didn't go to your meetings and knock your pans of macaroni and cheese on the floor. I didn't do that. I left you alone. I just did not show up. I'm asking you to show me that same amount of grace. If you don't like what we're doing, keep it moving. If you don't want to see what we got going on, don't look. If you don't want to hear it, put your fingers over your ears. But friends, we have gone to the RNC and we are completely charged up. My president was able to shake that bullet. My president was able to keep going, and he got the nomination. And he got J.D. Vance, who is hillbilly fabulous, baby. He comes from a poor American background. The hillbillies, actually, Thomas Sowell wrote about this. It's called Black Hillbilly by Thomas Sowell, and he talked about how Black ghetto culture and white hillbilly culture are the exact same, and it actually comes out of Scotland, because the Scots were very far from Britain, so they did not have to conform to those levels of respectability. They were wild and crazy people, and then the Scots were sent to the American South. So that American South culture mixed with that indigenous and African culture that was there, mixed together, and bam, now we got Get It Sexy. That's why Sexy Red is such a hit, not only on the rap side, but on the country side, because they're culturally the same. J.D. Vance will be able to execute that very well as someone on the Trump's team, because Trump has been very rich his entire life. He doesn't know about American poverty. He doesn't know about how you have to make the correct choices in order to change your life. So shout out to the Trump Vance ticket, and we cannot wait for them to get back in office. Again, our number 773-345-9977, 773-345-9977. Patrick, tell us, what do you think about J.D. Vance?
We're going to advance with Vance. I'm telling you that right now. He's only 39 years old, and he's going to bring a lot of that Trump ideology with him for years and years to come. And that's the beautiful thing about this guy, Vance. He's a good friend with Trump Jr.
Mm-hmm.
So he loves the Trump family. And he was a never Trumper a few years ago, but he was persuaded because he understood that Democrats not the same Democrat Party as it was years ago. It's not. They're so left or out of the ballpark. They believe in socialism, like Brandon Johnson, who's being very chauvinistic to beautiful women such as P-Rape. Tickets on her car is not nice. It's not nice at all. In fact, what he's trying to do to me, too, he's not bringing out the press with my press conferences. I do a lot of press conferences all throughout the city of Chicago. The only network that comes out is WGN. I love you, WGN. That's why you're Chicago's very own. We had a press conference for Kira Coles last year. Miss Kira Coles, her mom was out there, and it went national. The fact is, Kira Coles was only 19 years old, missing. She got money out of an ATM. Her boyfriend at the time was with her. Guess what? When the car came back, cameras seen it. The boyfriend slides from the driver's side through the passenger side. Kira Cole's not there. That's what the cameras picked up, where the Kira Coles went from that ATM at the store back to her house. Okay? Police questioned this guy. They couldn't find anything on him. But when the search began for Kira, he went out of town. That's a little suspicious, I think, you know?
Yeah, didn't he move to Louisiana?
That's exactly what happened. And I had a press conference there where I said I demanded that the FBI needs to be involved with this case because she's a federal worker. Guess what, P. Ray? The very next day, it wasn't a coincidence. The FBI was involved with the case. And I hope they're still working hard at it, because if they're not, I'll get another press conference out there. And we're going to demand the FBI to work a little harder, because Kira needs to be found. She was pregnant at the time. I really think that she was a victim to sex trafficking. There's a lot of sex trafficking that's going on in the city of Chicago that people don't want to talk about. And the sex trafficking is affiliated with maybe some politicians. Maybe it's so dirty that we don't know how far it goes. In fact, if we look at the research, there was a Cook County judge that was involved with sex trafficking a couple of years ago. I forget the gentleman's name, but that yes, he's not a gentleman. He's a scumbag. But you know, whatever. But sex trafficking is very, it's a big issue. It's a huge issue, and that's what probably would happen to her. I don't know. Of course, we all pray that she's safe, but after 5-6 years, you know, I wouldn't count on that. But I'm always out there. I'm always fighting. I fight for missing people. When it comes to the United States Postal Service, I want safety in Chicago. This mayor doesn't want safety. He says that he has a safety plan. We're still waiting for that safety plan. Murders are every day. Robberies, people getting hit over the head. We see it all the time on WGN, Channel 7, Fox. It's getting to the point where we're getting sick of it. Aren't we getting sick of listening to violence every day? I think we are. And then with the DNC coming to Chicago, how much you want to bet with every police officer in town going to downtown or the area where the DNC is at, that the neighborhood areas such as Austin, Belmont Cragen, Hermosa, Logan Square, we're going to be attacked by local gangs because now we're sitting ducks. That's why it's best to have concealed carry. I really believe in concealed carry. If your grandma is 95 years old, don't worry. Give her a concealed carry for Christmas. That's what we all need, is concealed carry. I think that's the best present for everybody. It's just my opinion.
And I want to give a plug to Design to Teach concealed carry class led by Miss LaShawn Pettis. She does a free class every month. Free class. LaShawn Pettis. She is very serious about making sure that we are armed here in the city. She does it on the west side. You can give her a call at 312-912-1461. Again, 312-912-1461. Her name is LaShawn Pettis. She is the instructor for Design to Teach concealed carry. She is a concealed carry certified teacher, a USCCA State of Illinois certified instructor. She's the one who helped me get my concealed carry, and now I keep Penelope in my purse. Okay, it's not a game. It's not a game. If you get P-Ray, you're going to have to get me from my back, because I'm definitely guarding my front full of hollow points. However, I do. Are we wrapping up soon, sir? Okay, so we are wrapping up soon. Again, in studio, I have Mr. Patrick Gibbons. He is very, very good at getting the media to come to press conferences. He is very good at advocating for our people meaning the American people here in the city of Chicago. So if you ever have anything that you want to get out to the public, give Patrick a call. Patrick will be able to assist you in getting press releases, the press. He knows how to do that extremely well. Like he said, he got the FBI involved with Kira Coles. Hopefully, he'll be able to do the same thing with Miss Octavia Redmond. Can I please have my music? Oh, there we go. And the music is playing, and we're at the end of the show. So with all of this being said, know, trust, and believe that Chicago Red is still going to throw more rallies. Our next rally is going to be August 3rd in the Humboldt Park area. If you want a rally near you, give us a call. We got tents, we got flags, we got people. We want to come out and show people that MAGA is real. We are not going to continue to accept the chaos and confusion that the Democrats in the city of Chicago, the county of Cook, and the state of Illinois have given us. Remember, friends, every piece of trauma that we've ever suffered politically has come from the Democratic Party here in our city. And if you got high self-esteem like me, put your gym shoes on, tie them up real tight, because we getting ready to run to the right. We are bringing Donald Trump to the city. He didn't make it last week. He's definitely coming. Could not go from Milwaukee to Chicago, but that's okay because he's still on his way. Chicago is going red. Black Chicago's voting red. White Chicago's red. Hispanic and Asian Chicago. Pass it on. This is B Ray of Black Excellence Hour, a show for high self-esteem, and I'll see you next week. Mwah. Ciao. See you later.